I'm worried that there's a big race on. They're trying to get there first because they think they can make a lot of money if they get there first, and they're not very concerned with safety.
Welcome to The Business. How intelligent is AI at this very moment?
At this very moment, it's probably less intelligent than the average person at doing general things, but much more intelligent than the average person at some specific things. And it also knows much, much more than the average person.
Meta's chief executive Mark Zuckerberg recently said he's seen glimpses of AI systems improving themselves. Is there any doubt that in time artificial superintelligence will be a reality?
Among the leading experts, they differ on when they think it will happen, but most of them believe it will happen. And the sort of consensus opinion among experts is between 5 and 20 years from now. A few people think it'll be faster, a few people think it'll be slower, a few people think it'll never happen. But most of the experts think between 5 and 20 years from now, we will have things much smarter than us.
For those of us who are only just appreciating how AI is already playing a role in our daily lives and the bigger role it is set to play, how will artificial superintelligence differ to the AI we're already using?
Well, there's some threats that come from artificial superintelligence that we don't have with what we're already using. So with what we're already using, there's many risks to do with bad actors using it for bad things, like cyber attacks or weapons or bioterrorism. They're all things where a person's in charge still. Once we have superintelligence, the question is, will it take over from us?
Plenty of people subscribe to those doomsday scenarios. Are you one of them? And do you think AI taking over the human race is a genuine possibility?
I'm not what they call a doomer. I don't think it's inevitable. I think it is a possibility, and we should work very hard to make it not happen. And we should be doing research now on how you would prevent them taking over. And my belief is we have to prevent them from wanting to take over. They'll be very intelligent. They'll be able to run rings around us. If you were working for a kindergarten full of 3-year-olds and they were in charge, it wouldn't be very difficult for you to take over from them. You just offer them free candy and you're done.
How do we research preventing AI from wanting to take over?
So at present, most people in the big tech companies think of AI like a very intelligent secretary. They think they want to be the boss. They've got this smart secretary who's much smarter than them. And that's the kind of relationship they want. I don't think that'll work. The only example I know of a more intelligent thing being controlled by a less intelligent thing is a baby controlling a mother. And that's because the mother has strong maternal instincts. And I think that's a model we should be thinking about. We're building these things. We're still in charge. Can we make AIs have strong maternal instincts towards us so they care about us more than they care about themselves?
What do you make of the race to get there first and the money being thrown at AI companies, one of which has recently reportedly been valued at $500 billion without turning a profit?
It's kind of very surprising to me. I think it's very surprising to everybody. I'm worried that there's a big race on. They're trying to get there first because they think they can make a lot of money if they get there first, and they're not very concerned with safety.
Is that why individuals should care and pay attention to how this race is being contested?
Yes. So I think if you look at previous industries like big oil was very happy to ruin the environment. The only thing that caused them to be regulated was public pressure. We want public pressure so that the big companies don't go unregulated. And that's for lots of different risks like bias and discrimination, very bad things for children, causing echo chambers by always feeding us things that'll make us more and more indignant. We need regulation for all of that. And we're only going to get it if the public provides pressure from the other side to the pressure being provided by the big companies.
Do you think governments at the moment are putting regulation in the too hard basket because AI is coming too hard, too fast? And how can you regulate something you can't keep up with?
It's a very difficult question. And it's also very difficult because countries are worried that if they regulate it strongly, they'll be at a competitive disadvantage. So a nice example is Elon Musk was all in favor of regulations in California. That's presumably because he's in Texas.
And so, what do you make of the international race to grab a slice of AI? The fact individual nations are wanting to make sure they can have some sovereign capability in this area?
I think it's very sensible of them. I think it's very good that if they have sovereign capabilities, to test how dangerous things are. Already in Britain, they've got a very good safety group that has significant financial support to test out safety of AI things. They're not regulating it properly, but at least they can test how safe things are.
Many CEOs who are investing in AI right now tell us new jobs will be created and that the tech isn't necessarily a jobs killer, but a jobs changer, one that is about transformation. Do you agree with that?
Not entirely. I think it depends very much on the kind of job. So in some kinds of job, there's very elastic demand. In healthcare, for example, if you made doctors and nurses 10 times as efficient, we could all have 10 times as much healthcare, especially old people like me. But in areas like call centers, explaining to you why you got this weird bill, for example, that's going to be much better done by AI very soon. More or less all mundane intellectual labor is not safe.
What should today's students make of this moment in which they find themselves deciding on jobs, careers, degrees? What should they lean into?
So it used to be that you could train in something, some specific skill that would then give you a good job for life. I don't think it's going to be like that anymore. Very few specific skills are going to be safe for 10 or 20 years. So my best advice is try and get an education that teaches you to think and makes you able to learn and be adaptable.
If you knew then what you know now about AI, would you have pursued your area of research in quite the same way, knowing the impact and the shadow you're telling us it may one day cast over the human race?
I think the one thing I regret is I didn't get concerned with safety sooner. I think AI is going to happen, and a few people refusing to develop it wouldn't stop it happening. There's too many payoffs from it in healthcare, education, and basically in any industry where you want to predict something. So it was going to happen anyway. But I wish I'd thought earlier about safety, particularly this existential threat of how are we going to prevent it wanting to take over?
Geoffrey Hinton, thank you for letting me pick your brain the old-fashioned way.
Thank you for inviting me.